Hey guys, it's Danielle. Welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to have almost reached 100 subscribers. So if you are not subscribed, and my analytics show that 90% of the people who watch my videos have not yet subscribed to my channel, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe, like this video if you find it helpful. If you're looking for somebody who's talking about microlocs, who's also talking about parenting, then yeah, subscribe to my channel. I would totally appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel. So in today's video, as promised by the title, I'm gonna be talking about 5 reasons why you probably don't wanna get microlocs. Even though I love my locks, there's always pros and cons to everything. I'm gonna be specifically speaking from a person's perspective that has fine low density hair, which is part of the reason why I don't have sister locks. So if you haven't watched that sister lock video about my consultation experience with sister locks, then feel free to go ahead and watch that video. It was an interesting experience, but that's the reason why I ended up in the microlock world instead of the sister lock world. I actually had a loctician install my microlocks and maintain them because I just really don't do hair. So stay tuned for 5 reasons why you don't want to get microlocks. Reason number 1 why you don't want to get microlocks: because they're expensive. If you're not doing DIY, you can expect the price to be not as expensive as sister locks, depending on who your loctician is. Mine, I felt like were almost nearly as expensive as what the trainee told me that my sister locks would be if I cut some inches off my hair. I ended up paying $800 to have my microlocks installed, and that's not even considering the fact that whenever I go get my hair retied, it's somewhere around $30 an hour. So depending on how many hours it takes her to do my hair, I generally leave paying somewhere around $140 every time I get my hair locked. If you add that up over the course of a year, of this year at least, that will give me a retie in April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So there's still 9 reties left at about $140 a piece. If you multiply that number, I'll put it up on the screen.
It's a lot of money.
And so I think that that's going to be the number 1 deterrent from somebody getting microlocks if they don't DIY them. Doing microlocks that are pretty small, I have over 500, and they're interlocked, then more than likely you're going to be paying a lot of money for that. Nice. Look at that sunrise on my way into work. So pretty. Right. So reason number 2 why you probably don't want to get microlocks is time. It takes a long time to get your hair done. Even if you do it yourself, if you do it yourself, it probably is going to take longer than even you going to get your hair done, because you're going to need to stop, and you're not going to be inside of a shop. And so if you think about it, you're going to have to dedicate anywhere from 20 to, in my case, over 30 hours in getting your hair done. And then after that, it's going to take 4 to 5 hours every time you get a retie. That is a lot of time commitment. The next con to me is the way that it looks. So don't get me wrong, I've had fine low density hair for a long time, but the difference is that now that my hair is interlocked, you can tell that it's fine and low density. So if you're looking at my strands, they have been condensed because they have been interlocked over time, and now I'm starting to get a little bit of frizz. But at the very beginning of getting my hair done, it was really flat and it looked really thin and scalpy. I was a loose natural. There was a lot of ways that I could hide that, through styling or through letting my hair dry, and so it would look nice and fluffy and curly, even though if you ran your hands through it, you would know that it wasn't really that thick. But I can't hide that anymore, so I have to try to use styles with my locks, or just be comfortable with the density and the texture of my hair and my locks, even though they don't look like other people's do, because of the texture and because of the density of my hair. So this is me waking up in the morning, fluffing my hair out, putting some hair milk on it, and it's not as thick and it's not as boisterous or fluffy as some of the other people's are, whose hair is less fine and whose hair has a lot more density to it. Okay, so the next reason I would say that you probably don't need to get microlocks is if you're not 100% sure, because they're pretty much permanent. Right, so after you sit in the chair for all those hours and you get your hair done, you get it all interlocked, you've been through a few stages, what if you change your mind? And you have a right to change your mind, but in my opinion, for me, I knew that once I got my hair done and these microlocks, that was it. I wasn't gonna be combing them out at maturation. I wasn't gonna be trying to take them down. They were either gonna be on my head or they were gonna be cut off. And that's a big con, because like if you're a person who feels like you're not sure, or you're not you don't want to be wearing these pretty much for several years or the rest of your life, then that could be a con because of the time and the energy and the money that it takes to get them done, and then the potential to want to change your hair after that. Not everybody falls in love with them. Not everybody wants to keep them to the end of time. And so that could be a potential con. All right, so the last reason why you might not want to get Microlocs is if you're not willing to wait for them to go through their process. So a lot of people get on Pinterest, or they get on here and they have these lock crushes and they think, oh, they're so beautiful, I love them so much. But people are in different stages of their locks actually being formed and turning into locks, into locking. And so if you have seen these beautiful images on Instagram, on Pinterest, on YouTube of people's locks, and that's what you expect your locks to look like the day that you get them, then you're probably going to be in for a rude awakening. So if you're not willing to go through, you know, the scalpy phase, or the phase when you're waiting for your locks to mature, or whenever you go through a slippage phase, or when you're ready for waiting for them to bud, you're not going to be happy about it, because they're not that way immediately. Especially if you have fine, low density hair, it's going to take time for your hair to regain fullness, maybe even to regain fullness that you had whenever your hair was actually loose, natural, and you were able to manipulate it and get it to look fluffier. So that would be my last con for why I would say don't get Microlocs, because it can take a long time. I'm coming up on 6 months, and if you look up, here's a close-up of my scalp. It's just now starting to bud in the areas where it's been interlocked. And I'm only like 1 week from the last time my hair was retied. So my advice would be to have hair crushes and have lock crushes, but to find somebody whose hair is similar to yours that you can learn from, and you can see how their hair progresses over time before you decide to go through the process of microlocking your own hair and or paying the money to have somebody lock your hair. Anyways, guys, so those are my reasons why you should not get Microlocs. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. I'm so excited to have reached 100 subscribers. I can't wait to get to 1,000 to be able to share more videos like this with you guys. I'm so excited to be part of this Microloc community here on YouTube. There's something that I forgot, like a thing you can think of, like, oh yeah, if you're not ready to deal with this, then you don't need to get Microlocs. Leave it in the description below. Feel free to share, because I think we have to help each other. I took 2 years before I decided to get locks, and there's a lot of things that I've learned along the way that I would have loved to have known that were going to happen, you know, before I actually had it done, or just to know what somebody else's experience was when they decided to, or when they got Microlocs. So again, like, subscribe, share with your friends if you found this video helpful, and those are my reasons. See you guys later.